Hey everyone, I have already shared a video about the new Creality Scan 4.2, but Creality has also rolled out a mobile app to go with the desktop version. It's called Creality Scan Mobile App version 3. When you connect the Creality scanner through a Wi-Fi bridge, there is a known issue. The screen tends to lag when casting to a mobile phone. I actually made a video about this back in January 2026. The workaround is to use a third-party screen casting app together with a second Wi-Fi adapter, but honestly, that setup is pretty inconvenient. First, I will connect my phone to the Wi-Fi bridge, and then I will walk you through how screen casting works on the mobile app. Back on the desktop, I have already connected my PC to the Wi-Fi bridge as well. In the lower left corner, you will see a button for mobile connection. When you click on it, a QR code will pop up for you to scan with the mobile app. Back on the mobile app, you won't find a camera button to scan the QR code. It simply isn't there. So now you will need to go into Settings and tap on Cast. That brings up some instruction for you to read. But even then, it still doesn't explain where the camera button is. It almost feels like Creality doesn't want you to find it. But if you look closely, you will spot a small Start Casting option in the lower right corner. Tap on it, and that finally activates the camera. It actually took me a while to spot that button. My eyes aren't as sharp this day. You'll probably find it quicker than I did. And now the screen is connected. Let's try scanning this engine valve cover. I set the resolution to 0.2mm. On the mobile screen, you see an option to adjust the resolution. I'm setting mine to 1080p with a 30 fps refresh rate. Now I will start the scan, and you can see there is no noticeable lag between the desktop and the mobile screen. Look like Creality has finally solved the lagging problem. In the end, finding that little Start Casting button made the whole process worthwhile. I've been scanning for 5000 frames now, and the screen synchronization is still perfectly locked in. Switching between different scanning modes works flawlessly. No glitches, no lag, everything stays stable. Now I will switch to Standalone scanning with my mobile phone. It's powered by a Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 processor and 16GB of RAM connected to the Creality Sermoon S1. The mobile app now features a completely redesigned interface. The menus look entirely different and everything is displayed in dark mode. Next, I will scan in parallel line laser mode with a 0.2mm resolution. Keep in mind, I'm recording the screen with my phone, so the frame rate you see may look lower than in actual use. At the start, I was getting around 40 fps, but over time, the speed gradually dropped to the mid-30s. Eventually, the frame rate settles at 30 frames per second and holds steady there. At 11,000 frames, the scanning remains stable with no issues. This confirms you can connect the Sermoon S1 to a high-performance Android phone and carry out serious laser mode scanning, even though it's limited to the 7-line laser setup. One advantage of scanning with the mobile phone is that you can orbit and zoom in the viewport, With screencasting, you are limited to just watching the display. You also have the option to create additional scans within the same project. I don't recall this feature being available in the previous version. To export the scan data from the mobile phone to the PC, I will tap the three dots and select Share to PC. Then, on the desktop screen, simply scan the QR code to complete the transfer. Unfortunately, the software keeps throwing an error message and fails to export the scan. As a workaround, I will tap Share instead of Share to PC and use the integrated Quick Share app on my Android phone to transfer the file. You also need to install Quick Share on your PC to complete the process. Here's the scan data from the mobile phone. With Creality Scan 4.2, you can now clip the plane after completing the 3D scanning process. And here's the final result from the Sermoon S1 scan using the mobile phone. The Creality Sermoon P1 has also received a new firmware update, version 1.0.29. With this update, the P1 can now cast its screen to a PC over Wi-Fi, and scanning in the infrared mode gets a major speed boost. Connecting the P1 to a PC over Wi-Fi is straightforward. Once the PC joins the scanner's Wi-Fi, the screen is automatically cast to the scanner. There is a slight lag, but it's minimal and barely noticeable during the scan. When connected to the PC, the Sermoon P1 logs in at 80 frames per second in laser mode. There is no lag or stutter. The connection stays stable and never drops out. However, the screencasting doesn't accept touch input, so you still can't orbit or zoom to inspect the scan results. In standalone mode, scanning at 0.2mm resolution drops the speed to 40 frames per second. At a lower resolution, like 0.3mm, the speed reaches a maximum of 50 frames per second. When scanning with the P1 in infrared mode, the speed has jumped from 7 to 8 frames per second to nearly 20 frames per second. This makes the P1 the fastest wireless infrared scanner from Creality. When scanning with the Sermoon P1 in fast mode, you have two options: the high precision camera, which shows the result on the right, and the large FOV camera, which shows the result on the left. Scanning with the high precision camera gives finer detail and smoother surfaces. The large FOV camera tracks better but produces rougher surfaces, acceptable for face scanning, though not as refined as the Creality Scan Author. Here is my review on the Creality mobile app version 3 and the Sermoon P1 new firmware update. Thanks you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.